Live below your means. You hear it all the time. You've been hearing it for years when it comes to managing your finances. But what does live below your means mean? Put as simply as possible, it means spend less money than you earn. And the concept is not difficult to understand, and yet so many people find it difficult to do. Maybe you're one of those people. I am Joy of Frugal Creative Living, and today I have some practical tips and some mindset shifts to help you spend less and feel more in control of your money without a ton of effort or feeling deprived. Tip number 1 is to have money automatically taken off the top of your pay. If you get paid by direct deposit on a regular schedule, or even if you deposit a check manually, like every other Friday or once per month on the same date, set up an automatic transfer to your savings account for the same day that you know that money is getting deposited every pay period. And it's even better if it's to a savings account that is completely unattached and separate from your checking account so that you don't see the money on a regular basis. What's going to happen is that the money getting transferred to your savings is money that you won't see when you get paid. It'll almost be like it doesn't exist because as soon as you get paid, that money is being removed. Just a quick side note, the amount of money that you put aside doesn't have to be large. When my income was low, I used to do this with just $5 every time I got paid. It's not about the amount of money, it's about establishing good money habits. Tip number 2 is to live like you're earning less. Set your budget based on a lower income. So if you make $50,000 a year, pretend you only make $40,000 and save the difference. If you do the first step, then when you budget only for the money that you know will be staying in your checking account. And this money is not money that you are setting aside for any particular purpose. It's not necessarily your emergency fund. It's not because you're saving up for a trip or for the holidays. This is for no reason other than to make sure that you are never spending more than the amount that you are making. This money is just put aside and you're not looking at it. Now, if you decide at some point that you need to tap into it because an emergency does come up and you don't have enough in your emergency fund, then you can do that. But this is literally just to make sure that you're not spending more than what you make. Tip number 3 is to consider instituting the 1-year rule for big purchases. So you can also adjust this and make it a 3-month, a 6-month, or a 9-month rule, depending on the amount of disposable income that you have. But before buying something expensive like a TV or furniture or a car, wait a full year. If you still want it after 12 months, then it might actually be worth it to you. But most of the time, the urge fades and you end up coming up with an alternative. So those big purchases, they can drain your savings so quickly or even put you in debt, especially when they're unplanned. And that's why the 1-year rule or 6-month or 9-month, whichever one you set for yourself, is such a great move. It just helps you separate those genuine needs from passing wants, and you can avoid so much buyer's remorse, which I have experienced a few times. And it just helps to keep your finances in check. Now, tip number 4 is to do a no spend month. Just pick a month where you spend money on almost nothing. And hear me, this isn't really for the sake of saving money that month, which you will do, but this is for the purpose of showing you what you can do without. Cancel any non-essential services for the month, any subscriptions and streaming services, cancel those. Make sure you're still paying your utilities and your alarm systems and your car insurance and anything like that keep your home safe and habitable. But anything that's just for convenience and entertainment, just challenge yourself to stop those things for a month. And use a no spend challenge tracker to help you plan ahead. Because if you just go into a no spend challenge without a plan, it makes it so much more difficult and you'll just revert back to spending that money again. Decide ahead of time what you will not spend your money on, what you must spend your money on, and what you can make instead of spending your money. See, because over here, it's not just frugal living, it's frugal creative living. I don't know if you can relate to this, but when I see something I like at a store, my second thought after, oh, that's cute, is I can make that. And I usually do. But if I don't, that means that I didn't need it in the first place. We as human beings are so adaptable, and after 30 days of doing without some things that we're used to spending money on, you have the ability to develop some brand new habits that will allow you to leave those old spending habits behind and make sure that you're spending considerably less than what you're making. Tip number 5 is to turn those hobbies into some side hustles. And the interesting thing about living below your means is that it doesn't always mean that you have to scale back on your spending. Another way to live below your means is to increase your means, but keep your spending the same. So you can do a variety of side hustles, but a great place to start is with your own hobbies. Monetizing something that you already love doing for free is going to increase the likelihood of the sustainability of that side hustle. So if you enjoy crafting, writing, doing household repairs, cleaning, take those things that you love doing in your leisure time and turn it into an income source instead of it just being an expense. Then take whatever money that you earn from that side hustle or that side job and put it away in an account that you barely ever see, or just use it strictly for investing. And I always say, if you can swing it, don't even count any of that money in your budget. And some people might feel differently about that, but I say let that money just be a cushion and take your structured savings out of your regular income if possible, if you have enough money to do so. Now, living below your means isn't just about tactics. It's also about mindset shifts that make it feel empowering instead of restrictive. And here are a couple of key mindset tips. Detach your self-worth from your spending. So many people spend money to impress other people. Sometimes people spend money so that they're not viewed negatively by other people, or they just want to feel successful, or they want to feel like they're in charge, or just to feel needed. And sometimes people don't even realize that they're being motivated to spend by these external factors. That's why pausing or setting those time frame rules where you have to wait a set amount of time before making a purchase is so important. It just gives you the chance to ask yourself, why do you want to buy or pay for this thing? And actually answer the question. If your response has anything at all to do with how someone else will see you or think of you, then your self-worth might be a little too tied into your spending, and you should probably walk away or give that decision a little bit more time. Real confidence and self-esteem is going to come more from having financial control and discipline and the time freedom that allows, rather than the stuff you have or the fake persona that you try to present to other people. Tip number 7 is to adopt a gratitude over greed perspective. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, appreciate what you do have. There's a saying that goes, comparison is the thief of joy. You could be fine with what you have until you see somebody else with something else that might be a little bit better than what you have. Then suddenly what you have doesn't feel good enough. But if you were content with what you had before you saw the new thing, that means that what you had was all you needed. And guess what? It's free because you already have it. So be grateful for it. There's probably someone looking at you wishing they had what you have. When you're grateful, then the desire to constantly upgrade your lifestyle will fade away, and your current contentment will keep you from those costly comparisons and unnecessary spending. Living below your means is more than just budgeting. It's about avoiding debt by not spending money you don't have, saving and investing so you can create some financial security, being intentional with your spending by focusing more on your needs over your wants, and resisting that feeling of having to have more stuff when you already have enough. It doesn't mean depriving yourself or living cheaply. It means making smart choices so you have the ability to breathe when it comes to your finances. The biggest challenges often come from our mindset, our habits, and external pressures. But the good news is you can overcome them. Which challenges do you seem to struggle the most with when it comes to living below your means? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with anybody you think will find it useful. Subscribe to the channel for more frugal living tips, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.